being human. You know, being human. You didn't know my name, but you called me. You didn't know my story, but you had compassion for my struggle. You didn't know how many of us there were, but you said, come. Come and rest. Come and rebuild. Come and be reborn. Join us. I didn't know your language, but I carried your heart in mine. I didn't know your promises, but I had hope. It was all I had, in fact. I didn't know your lands, but I knew I'd be willing to live alongside you and nurture them. I'd even die alongside you to protect them. We both knew that our differences would fall away from eyes normally blind to the brilliance of humanity. We knew that one day our need for one another's strengths would grow beyond what we could feel with just our one heart. So we would meld them and mold them, galvanize and hold them together as one. We realized that when the walls come down, that when the fears stand down, that when love pours forth, compassion for our one family would bind us together like feathers in a bird's wing, making us freer for the effort and stronger for the flight. You know, they say the word religion has Latin roots that speak of binding. Not an oppression, but a way of drawing those sacred things nearer so that the way we travel becomes clearer, so that we do it for and with each other. So, we fly now together, pulsing like those clouds of sparrows that seem to move with one mind when in flight. But those times, those solitary times, when we touch down and come too close to the earth, and the things get a little too real, and those too often times when we can lose sight of our togetherness, too wrapped up and warped by our narrow focus on the day's hurry and worry and struggle and ideology and anxiety and lost passion and forgotten humanity and the work for that dollar, those euros, those pounds. We get caught up in chasing the social ideals, the political ends, the corporate bottom lines, and they end up chasing us. What do they call it? When the soul of you gets lost in the struggle for world domination, collateral damage? What do they call it? What do they call it when projectiles go hurtling at ungodly speeds toward hospitals, mosques, temples, churches, schools, malls, theaters, nightclubs, your home? All those places where projectiles were never meant to go. All those times when human bodies transmogrify into projectiles themselves. What do they call it? Oh, yes. They call it shock and awe. They call it containing the insurgency. They call it out in oxymoronic verses of holy war and state-sponsored violence. Oh, yes. They call it everything but killing me. Killing us. Killing the wisdom that both of us are needed to make a we in the first place. You didn't know my name, but you called me. I didn't know your language, but I answered. Because we spoke in the human tones, about the human things, in both our eyes and hearts and, can we say spirit on TV? Can we say soul without air quotes? Because that's what we are. Built on a foundation of love, fashioned in bodies of light, we come now, simply souls, being human, before the borders were drawn. We're calling back to you. Now that we know your language, now that we've heard your promises, now that we've seen your lands, now that we've offered our friendship, our bodies, our humanness to you. Are you still there? You know our names, and we need to rest. You know our struggle, and we need to rebuild. You know that we are present in multitudes because we are not other than you. And we need to be reborn. Have you noticed that we is this funny word that I can only speak when I'm speaking you? Hello? We are here not to take, but to receive. That the circle of compassion come round in an eternal spiral of ever-increasing brilliance by giving and then receiving, breathing in, then breathing out, calling, then responding, just human beings, you know, being human. We are whispering into your soul, not just shouting to your embassies. Can you hear us now?